Hey going everyone, I finally get to talk about my favorite RPG series, my favorite video game series of all time, and that is Suikoden. Now, it's wonderful how I came across my collection, how I came across as a fan of the series. There's many wonderful stories. In this vid, I'm going to talk about the very first game. I'm going to talk about a bit about the game itself. I'm going to talk about how I acquired it, which is a fantastic little tale. Basically, the story of Suikoden is you play as the son of a famous military general who was ordered to go up north with his army, basically leaving you and the rest of your household as a squad to perform duties for the emperor. Now, one thing leads to another, and one of your party members is your best friend, whose name is Ted, and he seems very young. What you do find out later on is when your party is in a little trouble, Ted comes to the rescue by unleashing this awesome power that completely annihilates this creature that was about to kill the whole party. And what this power was known as the Soul Eater. And the Soul Eater is one of the 27 true runes. And the 27 true runes plays a big part of the main Suikoden series. Is basically they're the power that governs life and all the elements, nature and destiny. It holds the planet together. Basically, whoever wields one of the 27 true runes is granted immortality. They never age, and they're granted the awesome power within. Like the Soul Eater is the true rune of darkness, so it devours souls, it opens up dark portals, all that sort of thing. And the bad thing about wielding a true rune is its destiny basically consumes the bearer. Basically, the Soul Eater's destiny is anyone who is a friend who is close to the wielder of the Soul Eater will suffer, and anyone who owns the Soul Eater will end up alone, and that's its main purpose. And what happens is when Ted uses this rune, one of the government officials who was in your party at the time basically goes off and tells the superior, and the superiors go to the court magician, who's second command, and she's named Windy, and she's quite a very nasty person who has been searching for the Soul Eater for a very long time, and when she gets wind that, no pun intended, that it's there, she basically breaks all hell to get it for herself. Basically, Ted, out of desperation, gives you the true rune, and you basically end up running from your homeland. And one thing leads to another, and you find yourself joining forces with a liberation front who's fighting the Empire. And another thing leads to another. I'm trying to say it. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the story, because everyone should experience the story. But I'll tell you some of the finer points. Basically, after a lot of things happen, you end up as the commander of the Liberation Army, which is quite tragic because you end up fighting your own homeland. Now, when I was playing this back in 1997, when it occurred to me that I'd have to end up fighting my own father, now that back then was very deep for an RPG story-wise, you know, and I won't tell you what happens later on because it is a lot of tragic things happen, but it's done in a way that you're just absolutely mesmerized and you do feel for the characters. There's not many RPGs where I feel for them on an emotional level, but I have, and I've done in Suikoden many times. I still believe that the game hosts the best 2D graphics engine of all time. The characters just show so much life. They're just wonderful to look at, and all the environments are beautifully hand drawn. You can't beat it, really. Gameplay, the battle system, you have 6 characters, and basically you have your normal attacks. You've also got unite attacks where certain characters can join up and do a special move. Then you've got your rune attacks where you use runes to cast magic. Now, there's normal runes, and then you've got true runes, where there's not really many game. There's the Soul Eater, which is what your main character uses, and he is very overpowered. And how magic works in this game is you don't have MP, you have charges. And like you've got a level 1 charge, you've got a level 2 charge, level 3 charge, and level 4 charge. And as you gain more levels, you get more charges. And depending on which character you use, they'll have more charges than someone who's not a spellcaster. So there's a bit of strategy onto who should use a rune and who shouldn't. The 108 Stars of Destiny, which is the main theme, of course, of Suikoden, as I mentioned in my last Water Margin video. Basically, in the game, you recruit 108 characters, and they perform a wide range of duties as characters who act in battle to various forms. Later in the game, you actually get you get a castle, you get a headquarters, and this stores your army and the 108 Stars of Destiny. And like I said, some fight for you in the battles, some act as storekeepers and, you know, sound tests, window tests. One's an artist that paints the pictures. You know, there's baths, there's elevators. They all provide a role, and it's just fantastic. It just felt extremely lively when I would go into my headquarters, and you know, I have so much love for it. It's one of the best systems ever made. Just, you know, sometimes you just take a break and you just want to go in the castle and talk to everyone and see how they're doing. And one of the best things about Suikoden, of course, is the war battles. Is apart from your standard party battles, you later on would have story-based battles where you would actually bring out your entire army to face the Empire. And it's done in a very simplistic look where you would have your army on this side, you have the enemy on this side, and have the number up the top of how many individuals. Like you'd have 6,000 Liberation soldiers versus 9,000 Imperial, and it just looks so awesome. It was, you know, I'd get sucked into it and, you know, be extremely excited and happy just to play it. I'd always reset so I could play it again because they're just very mesmerizing sequences. Now, how I got this game, and it's a fantastic little tale. This is the copy that I actually kept hiring out back all those years ago, 13 years ago when I first played it for the first time. It's exactly the same copy that I got. And I have to give a shout out to one of my good friends who lives a couple of doors down from me. His name is Chris, and he basically, the same guy who owned the business who hired out these games, he had work experience for. And he came to me and he said that they're getting rid of all their PlayStation 1 stock. So I asked him, do you still have Suikoden? And he said, yes. Now, this was back in the day where, you know, I wasn't on the internet. I didn't use eBay, didn't even know about eBay. But I was so desperate at that point to get every Suikoden game. So he said, give me $20 and I'll give it to you. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. Oh, absolutely, $20, yeah. You know, I didn't know what the market value was, but I knew it was rare because I've only seen one copy in my lifetime, and it's the one that I have in my hands right now. So I owe a tremendous thanks to my friend Chris for getting this for me, and for now being sit atop my shelf. It's just so awesome that so many people in my town played this, and I was the one that ended up getting it. You know, I'm extremely fortunate and I'm extremely thankful to have this. This is the PAL copy. This basically plays on European and Australian consoles, whether it be the PlayStation 1, PS2 or PS3. And it has very nice artwork. It's got the white background, but then it's got the mural there of all the main characters. I really love it. Now, for the 15th anniversary, I've decided that back in 2009, I fulfilled my dream of owning one copy of each game. In 2010, I basically took it upon myself to get every single copy of every single game. And when it comes to the first game, I've been extremely successful and I've actually met my goals by collecting at least each copy of every version. And the next one I'm going to show you is the first run of the Japanese copy. This was the one that was released back in 1995, and it's in absolute mint condition. I've kept it in the wrapping. It's still got the spine card. It doesn't look like a day older than it was released back in 1995, and it looks absolutely gorgeous and looks wonderful on my shelf. And there's the spine there. The next copy I got was the NTSC American copy, and I'm not really a big fan of the artwork, to be honest, but one thing I do like, and that is the CD. The CD is absolutely awesome. Jet black, and it's got all the runes and everything. It's even got the rising sun on the top, so it kind of looks awesome. Looks like it's in one of those bulky cases, so yeah, it's nice. Now what's the coolest thing is later on in 1998, Konami bought their two biggest sellers from the PlayStation to the Sega Saturn, and one of the biggest sellers was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The other big seller was Genso Suikoden, and this is the Saturn copy. Now I've got the spine card there, which is awesome. I gotta find a plastic case to put it in. Supposedly they reckon the graphical quality and the music quality is a bit better, but I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm extremely happy to have this as part of my collection. And of course, the last thing that I have of version of Suikoden 1 is on the PSP. I have the compilation pack of Suikoden 1 and 2. I'll talk about Suikoden 2 in my next video at great length. But one thing that I'm very sad about is this never made it into English. This would have been the biggest value for money ever and the best compilation ever. You only get one of the best RPGs ever made, you get both of them. And I personally think this is the best pack ever made. It's just a pity it never came out in English. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely love it. Now to all of you in America, I believe you actually can download Suikoden onto your PS3 from PSN. I highly recommend you do. It is the best money you'll ever spend. For us in Australia and Europe, they haven't put it on the server yet, and I really should start appealing to them. I know, I don't know if it'll fall on deaf ears, but I really want them to put it on server. I mean, they put Grandia on there a couple of weeks ago, so there might be some hope we might see Suikoden, online in Australia, and I really hope that happens. So that's my entire collection of Suikoden 1 copies. I've only got one more copy to get, and that is a PC version that was made in China. Now I've actually looked at the gameplay. It's weird, like the entire screen has windows and the gameplay screen is about this tiny on there, so it's very unusual, but it does come fully cased in a nice box, and I really want to get it, and that will actually complete my Suikoden 1 collection, so I'm very happy. I'm very glad that you could all join me. This is going to be the first of many videos up until the 15th. Next video I talk about Suikoden 2, and this is the game that made me into the Suikoden fan I am today. I have many great things to talk about it, so until then, thank you for watching.